My goodness gracious, what a situation this is. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy HMK rocking the new blue, but today we're talking about Bayonetta 3 and the situation surrounding voice acting. Now, I'm going to explain everything as fast as I can to get my feelings out, and I'm really comfortable putting out a video now because I haven't done a video before that when the news broke out, when both sides of the angle was like trying to, show off what's going on and whatnot. But now I feel the information is good because Hellena Taylor, the original voice actress of Bayonetta, basically lied, right? And I'm going to get to everything, like my whole spiel and how I felt about it on Twitter and whatnot. It's gonna go down like I hope you guys are ready for this ride. So if you have been living under a rock, Bayonetta 3 is coming out really soon. And the original voice actress for Bayonetta was Hellena Taylor. She was replaced by Jennifer Hale, who is a very prolific voice actress, and she voiced a lot of roles, including Samus Aran and I believe Metro Aran and a bunch of other accounts. But that's part of the point, but that's not the whole point. So Hellena Taylor was replaced by Jennifer Hale, according to Platinum Games, due to overlapping circumstances that was really insinuating that she couldn't do it, the timing was wrong, the scheduling was wrong, blah blah blah, and that they casted Jennifer Hale, which from what I heard, amazing job as Bayonetta, right? Hellena Taylor came out a couple of weeks ago with a 3-piece video asking to boycott Bayonetta 3. And the reason why is because apparently she was only offered $4,000 after a previous lowball offer in which she contacted Hideki Kamiya asking for a bigger payout, considering that Bayonetta is everyone knows who Bayonetta is now. Bayonetta 3 is coming out, we got a third sequel. She felt that she needed to be paid more than, what they thought she was worth or whatnot. And then the whole boycott thing was going on, which, by the way, the sales for the game still rose up, and then she was asking to, cancel pre-orders, put the money to charity and whatnot. And here's the thing, on my account, when it came to what's going on with this, Platinum Games is no stranger to being very weird with their money and whatnot. And $4,000 and VAs getting lowballed, voice actors getting lowballed is nothing new with the industry, right? And I was willing to not pick up the game. I wasn't pushing the idea to hey, boycott the game. I'm listen, on my personal account, on my personal take, I'm not gonna get the game because I have a lot of voice actor friends, right? And far be it from me to perpetuate the idea and the cycle for VAs to get low offers because, if you don't know, VAs do not get paid a lot within this industry when they should, right? Especially when it comes to the lack of, royalties. Royalties in the voice acting industry does exist, but you have to really fight for them, and it's very few and in between. So, I was not going to be part of that cycle if that was the truth. So I'm listen, I'm not going to get the game. If you guys want to get the game, that's on you, but I'm not going to do so, right? And that was from the initial information. You guys oh, you're just saying this, you really, don't comprehend my capacity to not get games. I will not touch games if I feel like I shouldn't. So when that whole situation was happening, there was a whole talk about unions within voice actings and voice actors talking about work, how much they got paid and whatnot, comparing themselves to the idea that how much Hellena was prepared to be paid for Bayonetta and whatnot. And it was a very interesting and most of the time clear-cut conversation about how voice actors are treated and paid within the industry, which was a good conversation. Then we had Bloomberg and Jason Schreier, I can't pronounce his last name, came out with an article fleshing out the real grayness of the whole voice actor situation, considering, Bayonetta 3, Hellena Taylor, and Jennifer Hale. Which, by the way, Jennifer Hale was getting a lot of, not okay comments, and that's fucked up. There had to be things said among other voice actors and Jennifer herself, and then Platinum Games had to weigh in, and that was not okay, right? But at the same time, Hellena did perpetuate that a little bit, saying oh, I wish her nothing the best. I wish the new voice actor for Bayonetta nothing the best. But then goes around and say you're not Bayonetta. You don't have the right to sign merch. You don't have the right to have. So it was very it's very apparent that she was scornful over the whole situation, and if you want to take it that towards Jennifer. Anyways, Bloomberg came out with the idea. Bloomberg came out with the details, saying that apparently within Platinum Games, sources within Platinum Games said that they were willing to offer her up to $15,000 towards $20,000, overall, when it came to multiple sessions, like 4 or 5 sessions or whatnot, in order to voice Bayonetta in Bayonetta 3, which is definitely a far cry from 4,000 flat rate, right? And then a lot of other websites start corroborating that story. Taylor denies this whole account and said that's none but fabrications. Platinum's just trying to cover their ass and all that stuff. Now, like, I'm not a voice actor, so I'm not out here to claim that, like, $15,000 to $20,000 for, a voice role of a main character in a game like this is, like, something that is, fair payment, but it's definitely not $4,000. So, like, that's like, okay, he said, she said, there was a whole, like, situation about that. Now, there was a lot of people saying that from this takes like, apologize to Platinum Games, apologize to Kamiya and whatnot, because Kamiya was going on this huge tangent blocking all these people and whatnot. And it was like, Kamiya was just, the way he was acting kind of like push things in Helena's Taylor. I'm like, is he though? Because if you guys haven't like kept up with Kamiya's Twitter, he's a wild one. That's just Kamiya being Kamiya. Anyways, Taylor denies the story, and then apparently Bloomberg also adds on that she wanted a 6-figure sum with residuals to voice Bayonetta. Now, that's a lot of money, and once again, I do not claim to be a voice actor. I don't know, like, if that's good enough or what have you, but I'm just saying that, like, $4,000 and $15,000 to $20,000 is definitely not the same number. That's what I'm saying, right? But with this whole idea of Platinum Games possibly, like, there was like a bunch of conspiracies, like, Platinum Games like planted a story within the journalistic world in order to save their asses. And then Helena Taylor is like, she's the one telling the truth. Who's telling the truth? Who's telling the truth? But what a lot of people didn't realize is that the nuance of the whole situation basically created what do you call them? Like a chicken fight, right? Like who's gonna veer off first, like who's gonna like crash into each other or whatever. With that sense, it turns out that Helena Taylor wanted to try and get the edge on the situation. If possibly Platinum Games wanted to break NDA on their own right and then put out offer statements and whatnot, and then that will make her look bad. So I guess she wanted to edge that out and like, hey, listen, let me see if I can drive the narrative on my account and show off what's going on and possibly like push the ideas in my favor. That didn't work out. That did not work out for her, because in a couple of posts, a thread that came out today on Twitter, Taylor basically admitted to lying about her initial $4,000 flat rate of voicing Bayonetta. She came out and stated that apparently the initial offer was actually $10,000. Once again, I am not a voice actor. I have no idea if that's good enough money for the role or for the time or any of that. But $10,000 is not $4,000. And apparently it was increased to $15,000 after she contacted Hideki Kamiya, right? So that was definitely not the lowball offer of blank going to $4,000 as she previously insinuated, right? And then apparently after a couple of months, like 11 months or whatever, she was also offered $4,000 in order to voice a couple lines in the game, which goes along with the statement that I forgot to point out from Bloomberg, saying that once negotiations broke down, she was offered a cameo role in Bayonetta 3, in which she was going to be paid $4,000 to be, cameoing into the game, nowhere near the amount of voice work she would have done for the actual role of Bayonetta, right? And she went ahead and denied this. So she goes on and states that she also denies the ludicrous idea that she demanded $250,000 plus residuals. Now, here's the thing. Bloomberg and a bunch of other sites only said 6 figures. They did not specify an actual amount. So for her to come out and state specifically like $250,000, which is $250,000, is it's incredibly weird, right? So like no one said that number. All they said was like 6 figures, right? And then she goes on and says that for the voice work of Bayonetta 1, she was only paid 3,000 euros. I think it's euros, pounds, euros. She was only paid 3,000 euros, and then she was paid a bit more than that for her voice work in Bayonetta 2, right? And she felt that like, she's worth a lot more, and then like Kamiya will hopefully like give her a lot more money, and that $15,000 was like something that she felt was a lowball offer. Now, here's the thing when it came to the whole situation in my take. Now that I got everything out of the way, right? Also, wait, before I get to that, also, she stated that Bayonetta is a multi-million-dollar franchise that has worth or has made $450 million without merch. If we look at this chart of like how much Bayonetta games have actually sold, it's like it ain't low, but it ain't high either. Like a lot of people know Bayonetta, especially when it comes to Smash and whatnot, but this is still like niche to today's standards, right? So like $450 million, I don't know about that. You know, and once again, 15 to 20,000. Not sure that's like, you know, still lowball or whatever. If like anyone does voice work and wants to weigh in that, be my guest, right? But the point is that she lied on the initial offer and asked to boycott this game to her fans. That was like, yo, boycott this game. I wasn't paid enough. It was $4,000. Okay. Now it turns out it was not $4,000 and that she was, you know, offered $10,000, then $15,000, then $4,000 again, flat rate for a camera role, and then decide to like try to throw another voice actor in the bus when saying that, oh, like, you know, I'm a team player. I'm here to like, you know, fight for the rights of like voice actors or voice actresses. Like when you lie about a situation like this in front of the world, how in the Bayonetta Witcher burning fuck is that gonna help them? Like that's like, I was all for not buying Bayonetta 3. I'm not like, hey, listen, don't buy Bayonetta 3 or you're an asshole. Or like, I was never like that. I was just like, listen, you know, corporations and stuff like that and VAs get lowballed all the time. And if this is the truth, then I'm not going to buy a game that perpetuates that kind of, you know, atmosphere, considering that, you know, that's pretty shitty of companies that to pay voice actors, and I have a lot of voice actor friends, right? But now that information is coming out, how the fuck is that going to help the whole situation? How's that gonna help the whole industry? Because now not only is Helena's reputation down in the dumps, down in the trash, but this also like works against other voice actors that could be within this actual situation from stepping up and saying things and being believed. Because already when Hellena first broke out the story, there was a lot of people saying like, man, I don't know about that. Like, who is she? She hasn't had a role in like 6 years, 5 years. Like, who is she to say something like that? She's lying, blah, blah, blah. So there was already people not believing, you know, Hellena Taylor, and, you know, now for good reason because she lied, right? But like having this situation being possibly attached more so to like almost any other voice actor or voice actress that wants to step forward and talk about, you know, have an actual conversation of like pay rates and all that stuff. Now this is gonna set the shit back like 10, 15, 20 years because like, oh, by the way, people are like, oh, why would she do this? Why would she break NDA? Which is like, when the story first broke, I'm like, what did she gain from this from lying, right? And now that she's lying, I'm like, what did you have to gain from this from lying? Like what? Because now, like, no other company's gonna believe her, no other company's probably gonna, like, hire her or whatnot. And a lot of people's been saying, like, oh, man, there's probably her trying to get retirement money out of Bayonetta 3 and whatnot. And, like, the whole mind-boggling situation about this when this first came out is, like, when Hellena Taylor was, like, saying, oh, boycott Bayonetta 3, is like, how can a situation like this end nicely? Like, because obviously there has been, like, some sort of miscommunication or something like that. There has to be, like, two sides to every story. I was always wondering, like, how does this, like, how does the situation like this fix herself? The game is already like pretty much done. Jennifer voiced all the roles. What was like, you know, Hellena expecting like a goodie bag from Platinum Games or something? Because like that wasn't gonna happen because she broke NDA. So like if there was like any legal action, it was probably gonna go after her or whatnot. Jennifer Hale did not break NDA. Platinum Games themselves did not break NDA. Camille did not break NDA, and I can see why now. You know, but it's just such a fucky situation because I'm like, god damn, like how the fuck are you gonna do all that? And then she still claims that Platinum Games is lying. Like, you literally changed your story from $4,000 flat rate to voice a character in their entirety from what you were insinuating to now $10,000 to $15,000. Once again, I gotta keep saying this. I don't know if that is good enough money, but it's definitely not $4,000. So that is where the lie inherently is, right? So like, I'm like, here's the thing. I'm not pissed. Like, the thing I'm pissed off most about this whole situation is not like, oh man, how can you do that to Platinum Games? How can you do that to Kamiya? I'm like, okay, listen, like, you know, I'm always like, one's like, hey, listen, if a corporation makes a shitty move, I'm not gonna feel bad for them, right? Square Enix or NFTs, right? So I'm not gonna feel bad for them if they make shitty moves or whatnot. And, you know, case in point, apparently from the pre-orders, people were still gonna get the game, right? So I'm not like, oh, you need to apologize to Platinum Games. And I was like, no, I'm pissed off about the position that Hellena has put voice actors in after this whole situation. Like, people are like, oh man, yeah, Bayonetta 3, yeah, man, they gotta like, I'm gonna pick up the game at this point now because there is no reason for me to like not pick it up, considering that the whole idea of me not getting it was to like, you know, stand in solidarity with the whole idea of voice acting and how they should be paid more, right? Now that this whole, like, genie is out of the bottle, like, that's the whole point of, like, my fucking rage was like, bro, voice actors are gonna get, like, thankfully there are companies out there that apparently treat voice actors really, really well when it comes to, like, you know, payments, royalties, and any other types of, like, goodies attached to their contracts and whatnot. But, like, you guys need to understand that for the most part in the industries, voice actors get dogged a lot, right? And, like, what Hellena was saying in the beginning went along with that idea that's been perpetuated for years in the industry, right? It's like, oh, no, you get paid this much, flat rate, no royalties. Oh, you want to make more money? Go to conventions and then sign some autographs, right? That was, like, the basic deal on how, you know, voice actors make the most of their money and whatnot. Now that she's like, oh yeah, 4,000, now it's actually 10, 15,000. How the fuck is like the masses going to believe in supporting voice actor work, unionization? Of course there's gonna be people of course there's people like me that's always gonna support them, whatnot. But when it comes to the ideas from the eyes of, you know, those that are not aware of the practices of the industry, and the eyes of the industry members themselves, and the eyes of the company that's like, oh, willing to like, hey, listen, we're gonna, you know, go in this direction. It's like, whatever. You've been voicing Bayonetta for years, but we're gonna go in this direction just to save money, which is also bullshit because Jennifer Hale, like look at all the work she's done. You think she's gonna like $4,000? No, that didn't make any sense. So this is just all fucked up. There's all sorts of fucked up, and I cannot believe that Hellena is still going on in thinking that people are gonna be like straight up on her side. I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be like, you know, hardcore Bayonetta like enthusiasts or whatever, but this whole situation of like boycotting a game under false pretenses is just so shitty. And it's not, like, the worst part in my opinion is not because of like, oh, the game itself, all the people making the game, we gotta like think about it. It's like, that's not even the worst part because the pre-orders went up and then, you know, developers still get paid. You know, sure, like, you know, investors might get pissed off or whatever, but it's the whole idea of like voice work and voice acting and setting that shit back years when they try and claw and fight for better pay, for better royalties, for unionization and all stuff. And she was part of SAG-AFTRA for the whole time. I'm gonna get the game, and that's just fucked up. But at the same time, like, don't go after Hellena Taylor and whatnot. Like, her reputation is already in the toilet, and, you know, of course, you know, be kind to Jennifer Hale because apparently she did not deserve any of this, even when like certain parts of the story was like out and about. But this is just it's just all sorts of fucked up, and I can't believe this shit. So let me know what you think about this whole thing in the comment section below, and be sure to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe to HMK. It feels good to rant again, but that whole situation is just so fucked. So until the next video, this has been HMK, and I'll check you guys later.